My name is Asad and I'm from Pakistan. In this video, I'm going to tell you about IELTS speaking part 2. And I assure you that this video is going to be different from other videos which you've seen on YouTube, because in this video, I'm going to give you some tips you've not found elsewhere. So, are you ready to improve your score in IELTS speaking part 2? Huh? Okay, well done, very good. Let me tell you, IELTS speaking part 2 is a description. Now, there is always a description, and the statement is describe, and then after that there can be anything. Describe a book you once read, describe a TV program you like to watch, describe a person you often meet, describe a movie you once watched. Describe, you need to describe anything. Now let me tell you, whenever you're going to describe anything, for description, it is very important to know about WH questions. If you know about WH questions, you can very well describe that thing. And in IELTS speaking part 2, they are going to give you 3 to 4 subtopics in the description. So for example, if you have to describe the movie, they might give you 3 to 4 sub-questions. You have to answer those 3 to 4 sub-questions as well. And let me tell you, those sub-questions are either in present or past or future. Or one can be in present, one can be in past, one can be in the future, or all can be in past, all can be in present. So you got to see that whether the question is in past, then your answer is going to be in past. We were talking about description. In order to describe well, it is very important to understand the WH questions. Now let's assume a topic, and then accordingly I'm going to make the subtopics, and I'm going to give you that very mechanism which is used by IELTS paper setter who sets the paper. They use the same mechanism. If you understand that mechanism, it's going to be quite easy for you to get a good bench score in IELTS speaking part 1. I'm not giving you the conventional information. You know it already. The duration is 3 minutes. 1 minute will be given to jot down some notes. After 1 minute, you will have to speak on the topic. You will have to speak from 1 minute to 2 minutes and all that. You know this already. I'm going to give you some tips which are unique, and rather I'm going to give you some secret tips which are going to help you with IELTS speaking part 2. Now, let's go forward. You need to understand, after the description, there is going to be the WH question, what? If they say, describe a movie you once watched, what the movie is all about. Now, whenever they're going to ask you what, you got to talk about the genre of the movie. You got to see whether the movie was action, it was adventure, it was suspense, it was thriller, and all that stuff. So whenever the question is what, you have to talk about the thing, what actually that thing is, or what actually that thing was, according to the question. After what, the next question can be about when. When means the time. That time can be in the past, then it is past tense. That time can be the time of the day. That time can be the time of the week, right? So when means you're going to answer when that specific thing happens. If we talk about the same description of the movie and they ask you, when did you watch that movie? It means they are asking you that very specific time in the past when you especially watched that movie. So when means time. You need to see if the question is about past, or if they say, when will you go there? Now, when will you go there is going to be in future. What? When. Then they might ask you where. Now, where means location. You should understand that. If the question starts with where, it means location. And if the question is, where did you watch that movie? Now, where did you watch that movie means the examiner is actually asking you for location of that movie. So there, your answer will elaborate the location. What, when, and where. Now, the next WH question which might be there in IELTS speaking part 2, that is why. Why is used whenever you want to ask about the reason of something. Why is actually used for reason. If the question starts with why, it means you have to give the reason. If it is the same example of the movie, if they ask you, why did you watch that movie? Or why did you like that movie? Right? So why means you have to give the reason that why this thing happened, why did you like the movie. Now you will give some reasons, and your reasons are going to be the answers. So we've discussed what, then we discussed when, then we discussed where, and then we discussed why. And next they might ask you about how. How means method or manner how something is done. For example, how do you select clothes for yourself? How do you decide what you watch on TV? So you're going to tell the method or manner how something is done. If the question starts with how, it means you need to tell them the method or manner how that very thing is done. So these are the basic WH questions, and there is one more. They might ask you, if the description is about personality, right? You have to understand that if the description is about personality, then the question can be with who, right? Who took you there? Who helped you do that, right? So who means the person. And if they are going to ask you a question with which is used for things. Remember, the difference between who and which is we use which for non-living things and we use who for the human being, right? So you got to use who, and if there is who, that means your answer should be about a person, right? And if the question is with which, it means it's about the thing. So you need to understand that, and then they can make some more questions with the whatever, whenever, whoever, but they are not very important. But these 6 WH questions are quite important. I have given you the description of that, right? Now I'm going to tell you how to attempt your IELTS speaking part 2. So far, are you happy? Okay, if you are happy, pause this video and click on like button down there, and also like my channel, because I'm going to share so many videos about IELTS with you through this channel. And if you have any comment, if you have any query, please write that very query down there in the comments as well, so that I could answer all your questions. Now let's move forward. How to attempt IELTS speaking part 2. When IELTS speaking part 2 is going to start, examiner will give you a cue card. At the same time, examiner will give you pen and paper, and then these things will be placed on the table, and you will have 1 minute time. In 1 minute time, you will have to go through all the topic, and the topic will have description and then the WH questions with some questions with WH questions. So in 1 minute time, you have to read all the questions, and in the same 1 minute, you have to jot down some notes. And then after 1 minute time, when your talk time will start, you can look at the questions. That very list of questions or that very topic which examiner will give you, you can look at that, and the answers you wrote or the outlines you wrote, that will be on the table. You can take a look and you can just carry on with your talk. Let me tell you how to spend this 1 minute very wisely for your IELTS speaking part 2. Some students, they do what? They read the topic. You know, the examiner is going to give you that question paper, or you can just call it the sheet on which the question is written. I don't remember its exact name, but anyways, some students, they read it all. Cue card, yes, we call it cue card. Some students, they spend 3/4 of a minute reading the cue card. Okay, describe a movie you once watched. You should say what the movie is about. Why do you like this movie? Okay, very good. They waste all their time in reading the question. And then 1 minute is a very short time. When examiner says you now have to speak on the topic for 1 to 2 minutes, and then they are indecisive. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to start the talk. They don't know how this thing is going to work. So let me tell you, my secret tips are going to help you start your answer immediately. Remember, don't read all the topic at once. Don't do this fatal mistake that you're reading all the topic at once. Don't read all the topic at once. You should just read the first line. Describe a movie you once watched. Now come back to the paper and write the name of the movie, and try to write in big handwriting, because they will give you a complete sheet of paper. So don't be afraid, right? At least if something is lying here, you should be able to read that. Okay, so if you write small, then you will have to read like that. So you should write big. For example, describe the film you like the most, or describe the film you once watched. Write down the name of the movie on the paper. Now read next. When did you watch that movie? Now you can write last year with friends. Where did you watch that movie? In Rialto Cinema, London. Okay, now you will write your points like this, and read one part of the topic, write the answer, read other part of the topic, write the answer, and try to write your answer in 1 minute time in outlines. Just write those words. The words will give you ideas and you will explain them. Okay, this is how we write outline, that you just take a look at the outline and you know what to say, you know how to elaborate, you know how to explain that. So this is how you need to read all the topic. How will you read? Read the description, write what you're going to talk about, read the first question on the topic, write the outline, read the second question on the topic, write the outline, third, and at the end they say, and why specifically you like this thing. So write all your outline, and you can do it quite easily and quite comfortably in 1 minute time. After 1 minute time, when examiner says you now have to start talking, then you can start. Well, the movie I like the most, and it's still my favorite movie, is, this is description. Then you can come down to the points and all that. One more thing you got to do, when you are writing your outline, in front of the outline you must write in the bracket that this outline will be explained in present tense, this outline will be explained in past tense, this outline will be explained in the future tense. Because sometimes in IELTS speaking part 2 they mix up all the tenses, or it can be only past, only present, only future. So when you write your outline, if it is a mixed thing, in front of every outline you can write present, past or future, so that you know when you're going to talk. Because when you're going to talk, there are many things which are involved in it. You have to take a look at the cue card, you have to take a look at your outline as well, then you have to generate some ideas and you have to answer. Examiner is facing you there, the nervousness of the examination is also there. So you need to write all these things so you can't miss them. I mean, if you, for example, the cue card question is in the past and you answer present, the cue card question is in present and you answer in future, then definitely you will lose your marks. No matter your answer is so good, no matter you use very good vocabulary, when you're going to use the wrong tense for that, definitely you're going to lose marks. And remember, whatever you're going to say, you got to categorize that and you got to explain that. I mean, there should be a story. Okay, if they ask you, when did you watch this movie? Now, if you ask me this question and I'm going to give you a simple and plain answer, I will say last year in January. And then I'm looking at your face, okay? This is not an appropriate answer at all for IELTS speaking part 2. Let me tell you, IELTS speaking part 1 is beginner level. That's basic. Part 2 is intermediate and part 3 is advanced. If they're going to ask you a question, they are expecting a story associated with that. Now, if they ask you, when did you watch this movie? I watched this movie last year. Actually, I along with my friends made a plan and we decided to watch this movie because it was a very super hit movie, and I read a review about that movie and then I decided I should not miss this movie, and I asked my friends, let's go and watch this movie and we would enjoy a lot, and thank God they all agreed and we went to watch this movie. Then if they say, where did you watch that movie? Well, basically what happened, I wanted to watch that movie in the cinema, but the house was full and I didn't know what to do. Then one of my friends, he arranged the tickets of Rialto Cinema, and thank God we could find the tickets, and I watched this movie in Rialto Cinema, and that house was also full and I enjoyed a lot. See that? There is a story. So you need to add a story, but that story should link directly with the question they are asking. There should not be indirect relation of your answer with the question. There should be direct relation of your answer to the question, then definitely you're going to end up getting a good bench score in IELTS speaking part 2. In the same way, move on with every sub question of speaking part 2. You have to associate a short story or maybe an incident or maybe something that happened, and as you are talking, you should take full interest in that. Because if you take interest in your talk, definitely you will show excitement, and this excitement is regarded in IELTS. I mean, they see how you are expressing. If you are expressing interesting thing, are you taking interest in that? Is your style of expression is interesting? They are going to observe all these things. So I hope with all my tips and tricks, you are going to end up getting a very good bench score overall in IELTS. I would say you should watch this video once again, write down some important points which I told you, and in the light of those important points and my secret tips, try to answer 4-5 IELTS speaking part 2 questions, and then gradually you will be able to adopt all my tips and answer your questions according to my tips, and you will end up getting a very good bench score. If after watching this video you get a very good bench score, please write your bench score in the comments. I'll be very happy to see your bench score which you achieve. And if you like the video, definitely hit on like and also like my channel so that I could share more videos with you. I wish you all the best in IELTS speaking part 2. Thank you very much.